So today we are going to interview Ryan Morey of Morey Law PC and have a few questions for him. Our first question, Ryan, is what is it that you do?
Well, I think the best way to describe what I do is an elder law attorney and an estate planning attorney. So I do wills and trusts, Medicaid planning, and general services for mostly the elderly, which are like long-term care planning as well as guardianships and conservatorships.
Great. Why would you say people need your services?
Because this stuff you can't do on your own. Well, I always tell people they could do it if they wanted to spend a year learning how to do it and then only do it once, and that just really doesn't make sense. For instance, I have a CPA that does my taxes. It's not that I couldn't figure it out, but it's not worth it for me to spend 6 months every year learning the new rules and then trying to apply them to myself.
Great, that's a good point. And how did you get into the business?
Well, actually, when I graduated law school, I thought I wanted to be a prosecuting attorney. Turned out that I was completely wrong. I don't have that kind of personality. I have the kind of friend kind of personality rather than the aggressive attorney type personality. And so I found estate planning, and then I found elder law planning, and that's just exactly what makes me tick. And I'm very happy that I found it.
Great. Wish we could all say that.
It's true.
What would you say for you is the most important aspect of your business, for you personally?
For me personally, it's definitely the fact that I help people. I know that, everyone has frustrating days, and I have frustrating days, but the days that I really helped someone and they said thank you, that just makes everything worth it. And luckily in what I do, I get that probably a couple times a day on average, so.
Wow.
It's always, days with nothing, but that's just life.
Sure, exactly. And how would you say that your work benefits the entire family?
Well, I think that by planning, people leave their children a plan rather than a mess. And so everyone's going to die, and I think people just need to face that fact and plan the best for it that they can. Just like everyone needs to retire, and they need to plan for that. Everyone needs a house, they need to plan for that, that kind of stuff.
That's great. What would you say are some myths people have about Medicaid?
Oh, there's so many. Probably the biggest myth about Medicaid is that they'll take all your money, and that's really not true. If you have more money than Medicaid allows you, they will just tell you no, go away and come back when you have less money.
Oh.
So in the vast majority of cases, they don't actually take any money, they'll just tell you no.
All right.
That's probably the biggest myth.
Well, and on that same vein, what would you say are the biggest myths people have about estate planning?
Oh, the biggest myth about estate planning is if you don't have a will, that the state will get it. And that's not true either. I mean, it would be great marketing for me. Don't let the state take it. But really what happens is the state has a backup plan for everyone. So if you die without a will, it's going to go to your husband or your wife. And if you don't have a husband or wife, it'll go to your children. If you don't have children, it'll go half to your mom's family and half to your dad's side of the family. And the probate will be a little bit more expensive, but it doesn't go to the state unless literally you die with no one that's related to you more than like third cousins. In that case, it would go to the state, but that's pretty rare.
Well, and you touched on this earlier, but why should I hire an attorney and not try to do it on my own?
Because you don't know what you don't know. So you don't know what you're missing to ask. I think it's like, people, I do stuff around my house and all of a sudden I get done and I didn't even know to ask that. And someone that does it all the time, they know to ask that. And I went to school for a long time to learn to know, what people should be thinking of. For instance, a lot of people, they think, guardianship's pretty easy. If I die, I want my kids to go to my sister-in-law and my brother.
Right.
But really, you just want to name your brother because you don't know if when you pass away, the sister-in-law is still going to be there. But your brother will always be your brother, and he may have a new wife at that point, and you don't want to have something like that to get into everything else that you're dealing with.
That's a great point. What would you say sets you apart from other attorneys?
I think the fact that I have a sense of humor and the fact that I just like dealing with people, and I'm not a lock me in an office draft all day kind of attorney, which I've worked with, and they're nice and that's needed in the world, but that's not the kind of attorney I am. I like to sit down and talk with people. That's the most important part about documents is knowing what they want because you're drafting each one for each person individually.
Great. On our final question, what are the top 3 legal mistakes that you see seniors making?
I think the first one would be just not planning, not having a power of attorney for sure. I mean, those are relatively inexpensive. If you don't have one, then that can mean a guardianship or conservatorship, which are at least $2,500, and they go up from there. As one of my friends says, they start at $2,500, and my best one made the down payment on my house because she's an law attorney as well. So that'll kind of give you an idea of what just a couple $100 can avoid. I think people pushing back planning, even I've had people come talk to me and they're like, I know I need to do this, but I'm going to wait.
Right.
The longer you wait, the less money that you have left. Like if you're in a nursing home, long-term care, so your money's dwindling. And then so many less planning opportunities that I have when you have no money.
Right.
And finally, I think the last one is just the last one would probably be not doing anything because you're scared to talk to an attorney. So most attorneys will just have a free initial consultation, just go in and talk to somebody, and if you don't like them or you don't want to do anything, then you just say, I'm done, and you're not charged anything.
Excellent. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.